Hello everybody, this is Janice. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to talk to you today about what kinds of items you want to prep for your junk journal if you are playing along with me. We've made this junk journal out of cracker box, a piece of just bed sheeting that I had from my mom's. Nobody was going to use it, and I decided not to, send it to the Goodwill. I used book pages and junk mail. That everybody gets junk mail, and just some books that I got from the Goodwill. But you don't have to go that far. You could even just go to the Dollar Tree and get a book that would be appropriate. You do want to, be careful what kind of book, the content, because, remember, people are going to be looking at your book, and so you want to be mindful of what's printed in the book. So just be careful with that. That's the only thing I would be careful with, depending on who's going to see your book. If you have gift wrap tissue, you can take any kind of stamps that you have, if you have stamps. I'm trying to assume that I'm talking to someone who's got limited supplies because you're just getting started, and if you're like me, your budget is tight. My budget is tighter than ever, and so I'm really trying not to even go to the Dollar Tree. But I always have tissue paper in my house because I save it when people give me gifts. So I have all different colors, but this was just white and then some brown ink, and I have this flower stamp, and I just stamped it all over. That's something I can use for anything in my junk journal. If you have file folders, someone gave me a box of file folders years ago. I mean, I've been at this whole mixed media and just making all different kinds of things depending on what's popular at the time. And someone in her office was getting rid of a bunch of file folders that already had writing in them. This one happens to look like a brand new one. They do have them at the Dollar Tree, so you could get file folders of different colors if you wish. I like to have these because we can ink them and stamp them and write on them, and it can be a tag where someone can write their notes and things like that. So this is going to be a big part of our junk journal. Something else that I started doing is playing with my distress inks, and it's just all kinds of media that I have in my craft room. I have a lot because I've been at it for many years, and so I have a lot of art supplies. Okay, but if you don't, like, say you have a cheap, it doesn't take really a fancy watercolor set to do this. Okay, so what I did was I took, and I showed you how to do this, I tore a signature out of a book, and I painted all over it with watercolors. These are very pigmented watercolors that I used here. They're the Gansai Tambi. I'm looking for the box. If you're interested in treating yourself, this is a great brand. I kind of am wishing for the bigger one, but I have all kinds, okay? But I'm a teacher, so just remember that. That's why I have so much. Plus let's see, this was a close to my heart one. So if you have your close to your heart one, get it out. This is just a Prang. This is a children's grade. You can use that. Raid your kids' art supplies and use them. Can't even open this, but see, it's a mess because children have been in this. Okay, so you can use that. All right, the effect might be a little different just because, like I said, this is a children's, but we're gonna test it out. Okay, and then what I did was, because I do have a lot of stamps, I stamped all over the page with different kinds of stamps, like This isn't actual sewing, it's a stamp that looks like stitching. And then, you know, butterflies and flowers and, you know, whatever you like. These could be, I did some giant numbers. They could be giant letters, whatever you like. Numbers, text always looks nice. I was gonna do some words, but I didn't get that far. And I just felt like, oh, there's enough. So now I have some pattern paper that I made myself. That's really cool. And you can use these in many different ways. You can use these as your pages, but you can also use them for elements for your junk journal. Okay, so let's get a page. Let's see here. Sorry, I thought I had it ready to go. I guess I'm just gonna grab, I keep saying I was gonna grab the first thing, and then all right, so here's the book. Let's just go ahead and do another page, another signature from here. So this book, eventually I'm going to use the cover as a junk journal, right? But it's still good. So I'm gonna find, so see there how I've ripped out a signature, and that just gives me the ability to use the entire page. I don't know if you can see right there. Can you see that? Not sure, but I'm going to carefully tear. Ooh, well, that wasn't that careful. Let's go from the other direction and be more careful this time. Okay, good, good, very good. Oh, we're tearing it, it's okay. All right, I like torn pages too. All right, so now I open to the center of the signature. Find the center, I think, is that it? No, this is the center. Okay, and this is where I carefully remove the page. Okay. All right, let's use this. Okay, this is what I do to make them. They're very, very dry, right? Because that's how watercolors are. This is what I do. I wet them down with a little spray bottle, any spray bottle. Okay. Then I get my watercolor paint brushes. I do have actual watercolor paint brushes because they do the job very well. I'm going to use one of my larger ones. Let me get my water. Where's my little water container? This happens to be a collapsible water container, but again, you know, solo cup, that works too. Okay, again, I'm not trying to be an enabler because I certainly I am not able to go and purchase things right now. So, okay, now, do you have to make flowers? No. Do you have to make anything in particular? No. Okay, I'm gonna make just a geometric or a abstract image. Okay, so I'm just gonna make shapes. Squares are really nice because they're easy, right? So just making a square. And see, this works just fine. And then maybe make some smaller ones, maybe some teeny marks, right? And I just kind of go all over. And then I want to maybe move to something to have some contrast. So I will, and just stick, I'm just gonna stick with the same stroke. and just move it around the page. Okay, and you could go on to this page too. It's really up to you. If you want a double spread of that pattern, you can do that. And then I'm going to go to the red. Notice how I went from lighter to darker, just because that way, you know, you're not, it doesn't matter if you contaminate them. No, it really doesn't. It's okay. So let's make some little strokes now. If you don't have any watercolor paintbrushes, no paintbrushes at all, that is something that you would need. So I got these at Walmart in the art department. I just got a nice beginner set. I always had, like, you know, paintbrushes. I used to homeschool my son, and we used to do art. Any homeschool mamas out there? My son goes to school now, but I mean, like, goes to a brick and mortar school. And anyway, we used to listen to history. We had the CDs for Story of the World, if you're not familiar. And we would listen to history and doodle and paint and draw. Sometimes we were drawing a map of whatever region we were learning, but then another day I might just let him draw, and then another day we might just play with watercolors just like this and just listen. And that's really fun to do. It was probably my favorite way to learn. And that's it. Okay, so there I have a totally different page, and then I let this dry, and then you can take a marker or a pencil or black pen or whatever, and you can doodle over the images like I did here. You can't really see it there, but let's see, where can you see it? You can really see it on the trees. And I followed this tutorial from a YouTuber, Nianiani. She is, oh my goodness, you could just, if your blood pressure is high, just sit down and find her channel and she will chill you right out. She does these amazing little doodles that are real easy to doodle, and oh my gosh, great therapy. Nianiani on YouTube. She does watercolor doodling. Okay, and then just as a little tip for you, never leave your brushes in your water like that, because they will, I ruined so many brushes doing that, and that's why I ended up having, you know, because like I said, when I was homeschooling, I would do it with my son, and I would also do it with other kids that were visiting. We would just, you know, if we were having my teacher friends would leave their kids with me for teacher work days because they knew that I'd be home because I was homeschooling, and I would, you know, so anyway, my brushes got ruined over the years. So that's that. Then on your folder, what you can do, set this aside. I need it to dry, so I'm looking for a place to set it. Okay, on your folder, what you can do is you can take distress inks if you have them. If you don't have distress inks, that's okay. You can use whatever you have. Use whatever you have. Maybe you have, I've heard of people say that they used shoe polish, and I've never tried that, but I guess shoe polish would work. But I do cut these down into the sizes of tags that I'm gonna need for my book. So here's my book, and so this is gonna be a pocket. Okay, so I know that I need to cut my slits to that size. That's where you may need a ruler. Okay, so maybe here it's a 4-inch, but maybe I'll do 3.5-inch tags. And then here, maybe a 3.5 and 2 3/4. This could be a tuck. 2.5 and 3 and, what did I say? 2 3/4 and 3.5. So I'm just checking the sizes here. Maybe I want a 2.5. Okay. Oh, what's this one? That's a big one. We could do 4 3/4. Okay, so I don't usually measure. I just make them like as like a crazy woman. I just sit here and watch YouTube and make my my tags, and I just use my distress inks. I use stencils if you have them. If you don't have any, the Dollar Tree does sell stencils. I don't have any of those because I have so many. Again, been collecting for, you know, over 20 years. All right, so 4.5. Okay, so see, a tag that size would fit here. Okay, so we've got that size. Then 3 and, what did I say? I should have wrote it down. I'm terrible at writing down. Okay, so maybe to know what this one was, the next size, which here we've got, let's just do 3.5. So 3.5. Okay, so see, that will fit here. And then we need maybe a, well, let me see here. I have this, again, not trying to be an enabler, but I think punches are on sale this week at Hobby Lobby. And this one is cool because you can have all these different tops. So like this is 1.5, 2.5, and 2 inch, right? So I can make a 2 inch one. And then I have a maybe 1.5. So I'll cut this one down. Okay. Okay. So there are tags. Now, you need a lot of tags because for me, because I like to make a lot of interactive pages, I need places for people to, or for me to journal. I don't really journal. I just make journals. So I need to start journaling. Anyway, so here we go. We're gonna make a, let me show you how this works. Sorry for enabling, but this is really cool. And I like to share when there are sales. Okay, so see that? Isn't that cool? So then I would just cut this down with a scissor, or again with my camera, cut it down to whatever size I want. Let's say it's gonna be, let's just make it 5 inches tall. Okay, so I can just keep going. I could just cut this down and just make, you know, a variety of tags. I can do that with this one too. Let's just put that little bumpy part out. We can make a tab out of that. That could be a tab. And then I don't want them all to be the same size. Okay, so here is 1.5, so that fits in the middle. And look at that. Isn't that the cutest little tag? Look how fast we can do this. Okay. And you can cut the round, you can corner rounds, right? But say you don't have a fancy thing like this and your budget is 0 at the moment, and you don't have any fancy tools like this. Okay, here's what you do. To make a tag, you can cut with your simple scissors take the other piece, put it on the other side. Okay, and then you can make a hole with just a simple hole punch that you may have, a household hole punch. That is so crooked right there. Does it really matter? No. Will it bother me? Yes. So in that case, this is what I would do. I would just start all over again. And I would just, ta-da. If you want to draw the line, then you would just take your pencil, and just draw it. Okay, and then just take your household hole punch and cut it right there. Okay, if you do have distress inks, this is where I go ahead and distress the edges. Let's see, what do I want to use? Let's use walnut stain. It's a pretty common color. I have this makeup sponge that I wasn't using. It was in my bathroom and it had makeup on it, so I washed it and decided to. Now the Dollar Tree does sell them. They look like this. Okay, so that's my blues, from my blues, my reds, and I suppose, I think I have another one for my, like, browns, but now this is going to be for browns. Okay, and so see, and look at all the wonderful tags that we have made. Now, will this work with a stencil? I don't know. I haven't actually tried it. I'm gonna get, I have a lot of template stencils. And where are they, you ask? Oh, goodness gracious. Just had them. Sorry. Oh gosh. Oh, they were on the top, in the top drawer. Okay. So let's just pick a really quick, easy one to stencil with. So let's do this one. Okay. And I think I need to re-ink this one. That's a good problem. That means I'm using it. And if you want to keep your area clean, you can use parchment paper. Okay, and look at this. That works awesome. Okay, so there you go. You're decorating your tags. Okay, you could do the same thing with your book pages. Okay, so let's take this one that's torn and use a different stencil. I love these because you can, you know, hold them with a ring. With the, what do you call that? A book ring. Okay, and so, you know, you can take your stencil, and like I said, you know, you can find stencils even at the Dollar Tree. Okay, so see, now I have some sort of a pattern on here to make it more interesting. Okay, so those are the kind of things that you can get ready and use in your book page. I could also put down one, I haven't done this yet, but I want to get, well, it'll work. I'm trying to think. There's one where it won't work. I think it's, okay, so what is it called? Deli paper you can paint on. Tracing paper, but you can put it down and use it for painting. It works great. This parchment paper is not good for painting and and inking and stamping, because it will not take the ink, because it's meant for nothing to stick to it. I learned that by experimenting. So anyway, that's what we've got. We've got all kinds of tags here, and I'm ready to get them prepared for my book. So what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll show you some ways to decorate tags using things you have around your house or crafting supplies that you already own. So thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, leave a comment, and thanks again for watching. Bye.